we will be recording this session, which I just pressed the record button. So we will have this available on our exhibitions page later in case you have to miss part of it. And you can find that at purdue.edu/galleries. This is the closing reception for this exhibition, so make sure you visit tomorrow. Rueff Galleries opens at 10 a.m. and will close at 5 p.m. for deinstallation. I think that's all. So now Eli will give a video tour, and then we'll have some remarks from Arnie Flotten, our head of school, before we start the student introductions. So over to you, Eli.
Thank you. Yeah, we thought that it would be nice to, for all those here, I guess I should say, my name is Eli Craven. I'm a professor in photography, and I was leading this senior exhibitions class this semester. So I worked really closely with all the students. And so we thought it'd be nice to start with this brief video tour that one of our students, Lindsay Schumacher, put together the past few weeks. And so we'll watch that. It's just a couple minutes long. And then we'll do a more in-depth introduction to some of the students after Arnie speaks. So let's see here. No technical difficulties, please. Can everybody see my screen? I'll assume that's a yes. I can't see anything but the video now, so here we go. Let's see here. Stop sharing. Okay. Hopefully that went smooth with no glitches. Oh, and Lindsay put the link to that video in the chat too for future reference, or if people want to watch it again. So before we go ahead and get into like some installation views and views of the work and talk about each artist in the show, I thought some opening remarks from Arnie Flotten, our director of the School of Design Art Performance, would be appropriate. So I will turn that time over to Arnie, if you wouldn't mind.
Thanks, Eli. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of your time here, folks. You don't want to listen to me talk. You want to get to the good stuff. But if you haven't been to the show yet, you need to get there tomorrow. It's a rather extraordinary show. And, you know, it's other than some projects that take into account things like masks and things like this, you would never realize that we had been in lockdown for over a year. The extraordinary resilience of you as students is inspiring. We are going to miss you, but it has been an incredible year. But look at the work. You have to get in and see the show. I have been so proud of you students throughout this entire extraordinary year for your attention to safety, for your attention to each other, and the courage and strength that you have shown throughout the entire year. And you made it, right? Tomorrow is the last day of classes. Well, you still have finals. We'll assume that everything's going to be fine in finals week. But it's a testament to your fortitude, your talent, your skill, and to all of your professors. So at some point, if you haven't done it already, say thank you to those professors who have worked with you over the course of the last 4 years, because believe it or not, they are really going to miss you. We are going to miss you. But now here's the thing. Here's the sales pitch. Folks, you are Boilermakers now for life. Okay. So don't forget us. Come back for homecomings. Shoot us emails. Bother Eli on Facebook. Send an email to Charles Gick at 3 o'clock in the morning just to let him know, you know, what's going on, or I just got a job here, or but be part of this family, because you are now part of a much larger group of alumni. And here's something that maybe you're not aware of. As of right now, we have blockbuster enrollment for last year, or for this upcoming year. Right now, 131 students are coming in as first-time students, and we still have all of tomorrow to find out. And believe it or not, you are part of the reason that students are coming here. They come here, they meet you, they see your work, and they want to be part of this environment. So thank you. Thank you so much for spending 4 years with us. And please, please, please stay in touch and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arnie. Yeah, I was just speaking to this group of students last week after we'd kind of wrapped everything up, and now we're talking about the future. And that was one of my key points, was the importance of staying in touch. And when I finished my undergrad, just how important it was that I could email faculty I worked with, and they'd be there to give me advice or write me a letter of recommendation. And so I appreciate those words. Thank you.
I'm still in touch with faculty and students from my undergrad program. You know, back when I was an undergrad, there wasn't electricity yet, but a long time ago. But these are friendships that will stay with you for the rest of your life. So please don't be strangers.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, with all that, I have a PDF that I'll share with some information about some of the works and images of the installation. And so we'll talk a bit about each individual artist that were in the show, and I will do my best to not drag on and take everyone's evening away from them. But I'm sure some of you are curious about what's going on, or what you saw in video, what you've seen in the show. And some of the artists are here tonight, so if people chime in with questions in the chat or want to just interrupt me and ask about something specific, I'm sure either myself or the artists could answer and speak up and we could have a discussion about what we see, but we'll just get started. So I have to share my entire screen. Sharing the app window didn't work earlier. So let's get that started. If someone can tell me they can see this appropriately. Can I get a yes?
Looks good, Eli.
I can't see anything now. All I can see is what I see on my screen. So if anybody's
it looks great.
Frantically waving me down. Thank you, Arnie. So this was our poster. We, as we kind of went through this course together, we really, one of the discussions that came up quite a bit in the class was just how to title a group show, not wanting to have a generic title, but really kind of speaking true to how they felt about it. And so I think the name they all kind of voted on was the Amalgamation, which is like this really diverse perspective, artists coming from all different points of view with a lot of different media and coming together to make this one big thing. And along the point of that conversation was, how do we advertise this, or what can we do to collectively advertise this? And the one of the suggestions was talking about album covers, and the way album covers or record covers or the cover of a music album is it has an individual tone, but then they're easily grouped together or seen as like a collective thing, even though each one has their own personality. So for the poster, each person designed what would be their own album cover. And then in the show, this is the back cover design that has the artist list. So these are the artists that we'll go through: Sydney Bland, Lindsay Browder, Parker Casper, David Chapman, Hanwoo Cho, Isabella Esposito, Jasmine Garrett, Lenora Gibson, Haridi Abib, Haley Hornung, Minjung Ki, Kayla Lopez, Lindsay Schumacher, Clara Villon, Devin Williams, Victoria Wu, and Vivian Wu. And then once we all finished our album covers, then we displayed them in the plastic sleeves, kind of made it look like the real record cover display. That was kind of the concept of the show. So there's just some installation views peppered throughout here just to kind of give a feel what the show's like. For those of you that can't make it or haven't made it yet, I'd say definitely get in there if you can. It's a show that like flows really well, and it's definitely something to see in person. But tried to kind of go within the order of the way you walk through the gallery, since we have an intro and exit. And this is the first corner as you walk in. This is David Chapman's work. I did not see if David Chapman was here. So if you have questions, I can try to address them, but he's really into digital painting and animation, a double major in CGT and studio art. And so he's kind of using the CGT side for the technical computer animation side of what he does, and then using his studio art degree as a means to kind of get the creative side integrated into what he does. And so these are digital animations. They're basically a self-portrait of these variety of days that he goes through. They all start off the same way, just kind of blank slate, same thing every morning, and then they develop into different forms. It's a little detail of some of his animations. These are all digitally drawn. And something I thought that was really unique about his approach was just how, I don't know, sometimes when you see digital animation work like that, it definitely has a digital feel, and he definitely puts this kind of hand-drawn touch into digital renderings, which I thought was pretty incredible. Right next to David was Haridi Abib's work. These three charcoal drawings with colored pencil. Also for scale, David's work these are all 10 by 18 inch panels. And then Haridi Abib's work is, if I remember right, 24 by 36. If Haridi's here, she can correct me. But these are African portraits. From left to right is Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Kenya in reference. Some details there.
You know where you're gonna find work?
Next is Devin Williams. Devin works in like a variety of media: sculpture, ceramic, painting, drawing, and has this really whimsical approach to these fantastical characters that have kind of these absurd notions to them. The sculpture there, you can see, has like mouths coming out of its ears with a third eye. The painting has all these like flying ceramic, flocked, feathered figures coming out of the fox's mouth. They're really kind of fun to see in person. Excuse me for just a second. So that's a penguin with a bunch of birds coming out of it. It's almost like tongues are bursting out, with these little birds coming out where the tongues are, with eyeballs on the top. I think this one's really funny to look at. It's almost kind of grotesque, but then it's flocked in this blue kind of soft flocking. So it looks soft, but it's also hard like ceramic. It's really kind of interesting in person. Next is Vivian Wu, who, going through the studio art program, I think once she kind of got towards the end of the program, she really developed this, her own interest in graphic design. And so she had designed this Braille magazine. It's a magazine for just entirely made out of Braille for the blind. And so she included selections of this book design that she had. Parker Casper, who is working in drawing and illustration, included selections from his project Windows, which he really wanted to show off his two approaches, which were, he likes to sketch these things out in pen and ink, and then using a ballpoint pen, and then after he sketches them out, then he takes what he's created into a digital illustration and colorizes them. So he included the kind of the before and after in his installation. And these are selections from the colorized digital renditions of the original pen and ink drawings. And that's kind of as you enter the gallery and walk in one first area, and then as you turn to the left, there's this selection here, which is, you'll see Sydney Bland in the foreground with all of her ceramics. Then we'll talk about Mindy, or Min Jung Ki, and Claire de Leon. Sydney works in ceramics and also in metals. I think the work in the foreground, that's Puke Baby. The one in the center is Abyss, and in the back there's Just Out of Reach number 1 and 2. And Sydney, I think I saw that she was here, and if you have questions, you can ask her. But she collects vintage dolls, and so she takes these vintage dolls and casts and molds pieces and parts and holes of them, and then uses them in her ceramic creations, and throws like a pot on the wheel, and then uses the molds to create these figures around the edges. Sydney, are you here? Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm here. I guess that pretty much covered it, just collecting doll parts and creating figures out of it. I do it both in jewelry and ceramics.
Yeah, and this is an example of the jewelry pieces. So these are brass. I should also add that last minute, Sydney built this stand for these jewelry pieces because we couldn't find anything else in the collections to display these to her liking. So the first day of installation, she went home and constructed this thing and then painted it at the very last minute. Jasmine Garrett's work is on the wall next to those as you want to walk around the gallery. She's a drawer and a digital painter and animator. Those are where her interests lie. She created this work based on the Lolita films and their reference to the books and how the books are transcribed into movies. And sometimes elevating the book in a strange form when it shouldn't be. And then she also draws these connections to Tumblr culture and youth culture on Tumblr and blog culture through these digital collages. I didn't see if Jasmine's here. Jasmine, are you here? Next is Minjong Ki, who is working in painting and working in painting quite experimentally this past year. I think Arnie had referenced the masks in this one. So she had been collecting found masks or discarded masks from the ground and applying them. And I was told also cleaning them first and then applying them in this painting structure. It's a mixed media structure with bubble wrap, masks, and acrylic and cardboard. It's also her painting on the right there, and then another conceptual piece on the left that includes a small landscape painting inside this hidden box covered with a mask. Next is Clara Billion. Clara's work is this conceptual work where she has used computer software to develop drawing instructions to make a masterpiece. And so the video plays in the gallery on one side with the instructions being read aloud and gone through in order to create these masterpieces. And then on the right, she has a commercial and also a video of her executing the set instructions. And then in the end, the masterpiece is created from following the instructions that she generated are then displayed. And I also have a, once we get through, I can share a video of these kind of in action so you can hear what the voice sounds like commanding the instructions as well. Lindsay Browder, who works in a variety of media. She has these are some paintings that she made, mixed media paintings, but then she also has photography in the show. These are oil on recycled cardboard paper with encaustic. And then you can see some really direct connections between her photography too. This is her photography right after. And she's interested in these kind of flattened landscape forms and the beauty and in pattern and texture that you find in landscape. And I think you can see a lot of reference between the photography work and the kind of textured abstract forms she puts into her paintings. Lenora Gibson is next. Lenora Gibson is a photographer, and she included this installation. It's a project where she's been photographing and documenting her life as living with someone who has mental health issues and depression issues during the pandemic and being in isolation and lockdown. So the photography ranges from this intimate relationship, the portraiture, and then also documenting the hobbies or the, I suppose you could say, the activities that they partake in to that kind of like increase their mental health well-being, such as gardening and things like that. And just the everyday life, the banality of it, but also the intensity, the ups and downs. Is Lenora here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did I cover it okay?
Yes, I think you covered everything perfectly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Isabella Espositos, right by her over there in the West Gallery. Isabella explores societal standards placed on women, and she does that through both photography and then found media collage, found image collage, and also video work. And these are her collages called Perfect Abstraction, where she's taking cover models and fashion models and kind of splicing them and reassembling them with different new titles, magazine titles. And she also has a video in the show, which I have another video with a little clip of that too I can show later. You can see the video in this installation view. It's back there between Lenora's work and Isabella's work. And the foreground is Victoria Wu's work, which is, she's a student focusing on jewelry and metalsmithing. And so she has two selections here. This is Breath, which is copper, silver, and bronze. These mushrooms she's created with these floral details. And she created this little pedestal installation with moss and flowers and soil. And then next to that installation is some of her jewelry selections, which there's earrings, a ring, and a brooch. And there's also this, which was, it was difficult to get a really good detail of this. I thought the video tour that Lindsay created really captured it nicely, but these creations of hers were also dangling above the mushroom and moss installation.
I've got to add, I'm not an artist for this, but I've got to add, it was so fun watching her put this up and like place the dirt and the moss. So she said she would come in every few days and spray down the moss.
Yeah, because the moss was a living thing. And so it started to kind of change color pretty quickly. And then right behind us, Hanwoo Cho's photography and video installation. There's, you know, it's definitely a portraiture focused installation. Definitely exploring scale and kind of like making this collage on the wall. He was a really enthusiastic artist who was, it was a pleasure to watch him install. It was kind of an active installation, him going up and down the ladder and like testing things and placing things around. His statement talks about taking pictures of, you know, his interactions and relationships or people that like meant a lot to him during his time at Purdue. So it's almost like this portrait of his, you know, this social aspect of Purdue while he was here. But that's David Parrish, Dr. David Parrish from our department. And then I don't know who everybody else is, but I do know that there's people he worked with, people he made work for, and people he hung out with. I think he said this was his boxing coach. And then right around the corner from there is Haley Hornung's Hollywood Victims, which is a series of encaustics, oil and encaustic on wood panel. She also created these digital illustrations that she sealed, like transferred or sealed into the encaustic panel. And so I'll show you some details here, but these were done by decade, 1950 through 2020. She's selected very specific Hollywood starlets to focus on. Haley, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I focused on like each actress that was popular during each decade and the colors that were popular during that time, and kind of combined it into the digital and painting together to add a little more like description of what this was.
Mm-hmm. I particularly enjoyed the way, like this woman on the left, which might be 70s Farrah Fawcett, maybe. I liked when like the distorted nature of the underpainting, the oil underpainting, kind of doesn't quite line up with the digital illustration. And it's kind of, I think that's pretty interesting. I like the contrast between the abstractness of the painting below too. And then back in the corner is Kayla Lopez. And Kayla Lopez had painting, sculpture, and photography in the show, all kind of unified in one specific thing. She definitely makes work about her family and her family life. So the paintings on the wall there they're actually chalk pastels. I shouldn't say paintings. Chalk pastels, charcoal, ink, pencils on wood. And it's titled Items of Significance for Puerto Ricans Living in the Mainland United States. And these are members of her family, drawn or rendered along with particular items of importance or Puerto Rican products they use. I think I'm saying this right. Kayla, are you here?
Yeah,
We can jump in.
yeah, the objects are just whatever they found the most culturally significant and wanted in their portrait.
Those are the words I was searching for. I knew we had talked a great deal about this, but I think I was fumbling a little bit. Thank you. And that one right there is your father, right?
Yes.
And then who's Natalia?
That's my youngest sister.
Okay. And then the altar of used objects is a found object sculpture taken from her parents' trash and the basement. And so some of those similar objects you see in those drawings are also here. And this sculpture lights up, has lights on the inside. So we tried to find the darkest space we could. And that's one of the casualties of like these really tight group shows where there's a lot of work being crammed into the space is navigating and adjusting light appropriately when work needs specific settings. And so we didn't quite get it as dark as we would have liked, but I think you can still see it. And then on the opposite end of the galleries is a series of photographs of hers from this is 6 images from a series called Hoosier Ricans. And these are all images of her family as well. And last but not least is Lindsay Schumacher. I think it's last. Yeah, it is last. Okay, good. And this is her installation, this corner back here. This is, there's 2 works back here. There's Murmuration, which is, you saw a little bit of it in the video, which is a painting on canvas with a video media projection of these moving drawings projected over top. And then right by there is this painting of hers entitled Torrent. Lindsay, do you have something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'll just add that the video that like murmur move around the canvas. A book of people that I had from 2017 that's been ongoing. Family or random people in the coffee shop. Every time I draw somebody like observing the scents and sights and smells around me. So it's been kind of an ongoing project, and this is somewhat of a and that it's been really fun. I had 3 classes. I had one with Eli and Charles and Sarah all this semester, so to hear their input on the project and just get a little bit of their expertise thrown into it. Wonderful.
Yeah, that was a really interesting scenario to be, and I think it's one of my favorite things about our program is when you get into like, you're in a class with me, you're in a class with Charles Gick, you're in a class with Sarah Poyer, and you're speaking to these faculty about different, approaches that they have to different media, and you're combining the media. And so Sarah was helping you with all the video stuff, while Charles was helping you with the painting stuff. And then I help you install everything. And so I thought it was pretty exciting to hear what they were saying and how their feedback changed your work. And that's all the install shots I have, but are there any questions for the artists? No, nothing in the chat, I assume.
And you're welcome to unmute yourselves and ask if you'd like.
Or we can go back through and hear from anybody that's here. I can't really see who's in the chat or not, but.
I just want to congratulate everybody. I think it's a really great show. I think all the students have worked hard and it's a impressive exhibition. And I think Eli, you deserve a big applause for all of your hard work. And you put a big complex group of students work together and it turned out to be a great show. So just congratulations to all the students, Eli, and to all the faculty who have worked with them.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was, if nobody has questions for the students or nobody wants to know anything else about the students' work, I will just say that I've done this a few different times at a few different universities. And I think I've even had conversations with some of our faculty that sometimes this can be a really emotional experience that sometimes pits students against one another. They want a certain space, they have a certain idea of what everything's going to look like. And then, you know, a big part of having a big group show is compromise. But I will say that this group in particular was just so easy to work with and so enthusiastic about doing the show that the installation process and the design of the exhibition overall was just a pleasure. And everybody helped everybody out in the gallery. And when there was an issue with someone's work or something didn't look right in a certain location, there was no conflict. It was just it was like a group effort to kind of renegotiate where work would move. And so I thought it was a really great experience, and I'm really proud of all of them, how they kind of came together and put it together. I'll go all the way back to the beginning.
I am muted myself. Can you show the videos of the video work?
Oh yeah, let me step out just for a second. Thank you. I just have clips because I knew we didn't want to be here for a long time watching full videos, but I thought it was also important. Can you see this? So this was this is a part of Clara's installation. And the sound in the video is so important that I thought I should at least go in and get a clip of this for tonight.
Radial lines in yellow, bottom right. Take the time to draw.
So I don't know if in, you know, COVID era, if that changed the way this work was approached, because I think, you know, something we talked a lot about was if the viewer would be invited to follow the instructions and make their own masterpiece, if we were allowed to actually have people touching materials and doing things in there. That's actually a question I have for Clara if she's here.
I did consider it, but with the COVID restrictions, I didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And can you talk a little bit about how you came up with these specific instructions?
I just thought of there's a lot of symmetry when we imagine computers, so I imagine a lot of lines, and I also started thinking about how could a computer express spontaneity, so spirals and half circles, while still maintaining what they consider computer, like a computer reaction or action.
Cool. And then I believe this is, yeah, this is, I know it's not perfect, but This is just an excerpt from Isabella Esposito's video, Women at Work, I think is the title.
Millions of women who have never before been employed in industry and now enlisted in the nation's labor forces. They're stepping in wherever they're needed to do a man's job. This is scary, but they do it effectively. Maybe the women were scared too, Joe.
Isabella, you're here, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing in this video, how you kind of were overlaying sound with this found footage?
Yeah, so I was working with found footage, and these two videos were both about women in the workforce, and one was from like a female's perspective that's like very encouraging for women to join, and then the other one was kind of from a male's perspective, talking about how supervisors should handle women at work. And so the two videos kind of juxtaposed with each other, and I clipped them to create that effect.
Cool. And then another video from the show was Han Wu's. He had a reel playing of a music video that he had made for a local musician, a local hip hop artist. And then it also looped into a video he made for a dancer, one of the dancers from our dance department. So I just wanted to kind of just have these excerpts just to share tonight. Yeah, and I guess the only episode I have of Lindsay Schumacher's is from the video tour, if somebody wants to see that again too. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing unless somebody wants to look at any specific images. And I will just say, yeah, I would just recommend once again to everybody here, tomorrow from 10 to 5, it's the last day, and definitely go check it out. There's still postcards left if you want one. It's a good show, and I'm really proud of these students, and yeah, let us know if you have any questions.
I'm just popping the exhibition tour in the chat again in case you want to go back through the. Have a nice little wander. I did see quite a lot of congratulations and thanks in the chat. Do we have any last questions, comments, anything? This is our final talk of the semester and our grand send off of our seniors. So
Maybe we should just visually at least clap for Eli and all the students.
you've all done a fantastic job. The exhibition looks amazing.
Folks, I sure do wish we could all physically be there in the gallery right now to celebrate your accomplishments, to congratulate you on an extraordinary show, and to really give you the send-off you deserve. But this is going to have to suffice. And Eli, thank you for organizing all this, and for really no technical glitches. Everything seemed to work quite nicely. But I hope some of you will consider coming back next year, and hopefully for the next senior exhibition, and hopefully we will be able to actually physically interact like normal human beings again. And maybe you can join us then. Thank you so much for an extraordinary show.
With that,
Yeah, thank you. I want to say thank you to Erica too. So thanks for all your help and facilitating this as well.
oh, cheers. It's such a shame to get to miss out to talking to each of the artists next to their work and seeing your faces and you know, getting to speak to you in person. But I really do appreciate you all being on here tonight. I think unless we have any last comments, we'll go ahead and close it out. Like I said, we'll have this recording available. Kathy's already on it with uploading it to YouTube, so I'll send that out for everyone. Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations. This is phenomenal, and you've all done such a wonderful job. So take care. Good luck on finals or final projects. And thanks for being here tonight. Thanks.